Okay, coming over to condos across all regions, we're seeing that kind of same trend. We're not quite at the 1% drop month over month, but when we look year over year, this has been our biggest decline in median price yet, of 7.7% in the condo market overall. A slight uptick there in transaction volume, but we're talking small numbers. This is not moving the needle in terms of what we're seeing there. And Matt, I think this is going to be still a little bit of a rough road for the condo market. But we have talked about opportunity in good pockets. There are family-sized condos that are doing quite well. In fact, some of them are doing better than they had even last year.
Yeah, the tricky thing with the condos is, like I said, there's a lot of purpose-built rentals coming on in the market too. And typically you would get, in most condo buildings, potentially around 70% of the buyers were investors. So in order for that condo market even to start coming around, you do need potentially rents to stabilize or start moving to the upside. So that'll be something to keep an eye on for the condo market.
Yeah, new listing again creeping up there, and specifically when we come into the condo market, we are now almost the highest year in terms of new listings coming in. We're not quite that way when we looked at overall or specifically in the freehold. And active listings, this is where it really tells the tale. We have the most amount of condo listings that we have ever seen in the GTA. So it's important to note. And when you've got that many active listings, that's where you're going to see that downward pressure on prices, as well as some of those condos, just not moving at all because they're not a product that anybody is interested in at the moment.
Yeah, we're up over 4,000 additional new active listings than what we saw last year.
Yeah. And so again, you can take a look at active listings here over the years, and just where we're used to hovering to where we are now. And Matt, you and I have said it, when you've got the most cranes in the sky of any city out there for a little while, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
And this doesn't even represent the amount of condos that are being sold as assignment that aren't allowed to be posted on the MLS and that are being sold off the MLS. This statistic would be even greater when you factor those in.
I think so. We're talking about 14,500 listings available on the condo market right now, and I believe the report from last month came out that there are 20,000 unsold new condos as well that are sitting there, and they're having a tough go of it. They've had their lowest sales numbers, like I think ever, for the month of February it was. So yeah, in the condo market, there's a lot of stuff that's going to have to start changing before we see any real turnaround, any meaningful turnaround in that area.
And there's also talk too with some condo buildings that they might not be able to form a corporation, so they're looking to potentially renting out some of these condo buildings and some of these units that have been unsold. So you could actually see, even a larger spike in rental
availability. Yeah.
Rental availability as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I think that when it's not something you want to see just in general, because it's a very bad indicator for what's going on in the market. But if that's something they can pivot and the builder can, still operate on, and flipping that to a rental building, even if it's for, I don't know how they would work it out in terms of time frames. It's an interesting concept, I'll say.
It's interesting, but the problem is, like, once you put a tenant in there, you can't just automatically ask them to leave, right?
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see how they navigate that.
Yeah, and when they came up with their business plan for constructing that condo, rental was not the end goal, was not how they figured it in. So everything is going to be out of whack there. And when we take a look at our median sale price here, we're down to just below 2021 at this point, where they came in at 600,000 and we're at 575 currently.
Yeah, and this is the result of massive supply in the market. And when I look at this chart, I see opportunity for first-time home buyers that want to live in a condo. Yeah. The amount of negotiating power that you have right now is substantial.
Yeah, and it's not often in the GTA housing market that you get to wipe away 4 years of increases and then be able to buy into it, right? Talking about buying the dips, this is one of those opportunities, specifically in the condo market. And now, we want to talk about what's a buyer's market. Well, 6 months of inventory is very comfortably a buyer's market, and that's what we're seeing across the condo boards here.
Yeah, and I think you're not far away from getting 2020 prices, and if you negotiate and you're patient, you could find deals that are close to that 2020 now. You don't have to wait till later in the year to see that. There are people that are potentially needing to get out right away. And, we're only, 35,000 away from where we were in 2020.
Yeah. Now, there is going to be a lag effect. Like, we're going to see those interest rates continue to drop, and that will bring buyers back to the market, especially once we get our uncertainty kind of taken care of. There will still be a lag effect. It's not going to happen like right away, but it does let you know that there is likely a window there for when the ultimate opportunity is going to be. While we're sitting in this trough, let's call it, before we start turning this thing around.